to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the holy name of the Lord. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All glories to Bābājī. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhagalesh Madhi Bhaktivedanta Swami Shamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharane Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschatadesha Tarane. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Well, that was nice, huh? Yeah. Some of those old tunes are just really the best. I remember these old tunes from the good old days. Back when Srila Prabhupada was with us. And, when the world was young. Before we lost our innocence. Before we were exposed to the really heavy games going on within ISKCON and like that. We found out, how this world really operates. And then, from that point on, we had to be very, very cautious, very circumspect. And in his final days, before leaving this world, or at least physically leaving this world, Srila Prabhupada sent his beloved sister with a message and told me what was really going on. Names, dates, places, who did what to whom, where the bodies are buried, the whole 9 yards. So I lost my innocence in a big hurry. And at the time it was a terrible shock. But since that time, I did my homework. Read a few Tom Clancy novels, read a few more serious books on the subject. And found out, about the game and how the game is played. And those of you who I'm speaking to know what I mean by that. And so it'll also be of interest to you, those of you who are playing the game, that we don't play the game. We don't play the game. So as of right now, we are not accepting any new students. And the reason for that is that since we announced that we're going to India, that we have been getting probes from ISKCON. I made a post this morning exposing that the same person has been doing searches on our website every single day for the last month about our posts about ISKCON. And they've been looking at a lot of, our web posts, or specifically our forum posts on our site about our experience in ISKCON, our feelings about ISKCON, our knowledge of ISKCON, our policies toward ISKCON. And then tonight on YouTube, one of them started making overtures of, hey, Prabhu, why don't we work together on preaching? Wouldn't that be nice? I'm a disciple of an ISKCON guru, but of course someone as broad-minded as you is not going to mind that, right? Well, if that person had done their homework, they would know that we have a firm policy against this kind of thing. But just for the heck of it, I looked into this person's profile. And the profile had been created within an hour of their response to our video. And it has no identifying data associated with it, no background, no previous posts, no video views except the video that he responded to specifically. In the game, This is known as a cutout. Okay? So we know about cutouts, we know about sleepers, we know about dead drops, we know about the game. And we're not playing the game. We're playing a completely different game. So, I have anticipated this moment for a long time. Oh, I know exactly what you're up to. I know exactly where you're coming from. And I know exactly who sent you and why. Okay? So, we're not going to talk about those things because you know and I know exactly what I'm talking about. So, to my students, I want to say, I'm very grateful for your support. The outpouring of support and cooperation around my visit coming up to the U.S. is very, very encouraging, very heartening. And we're going to have a very nice Janmashtami festival. But there's only one thing. We can't invite any outside people to this festival. Only people that we already know, only people who are already registered as students. Confirmed, thank you. So, this is because since we announced our plans to go to India, ISKCON has stepped up its surveillance of us and even attempted to infiltrate, a very clumsy attempt, a very unprofessional attempt, probably not really a serious attempt to infiltrate, just a probe, but we need to close the door now. And we're going to contemplate additional security on our website and so on and so forth. You know, I regret to have to take these steps, but we're not dealing with honest men. We're not even dealing with men who work within the bounds of the law or morality. So, what to speak of Vedic principles. So, we need to be very cautious from this moment on. Because after all, our business is not really making a religious organization. We don't really care a whole lot about making religious organizations. In fact, we don't really care about religion at all. What to speak of abstractions like organizations. False fronts, false names, abstractions. This whole world, this material world is known as the world of names. That means someone will come up with a nice name for something, and then behind that name they'll do all their material activities. Like a corporation, for example. A corporation's a good example. Because a corporation, the very purpose of the corporation is to shield its executives from the liabilities caused by the operations of the corporation. In other words, a corporation is a way of doing harm to people where you cannot be held responsible for that harm. That's precisely what a corporation is. And that's why corporations, especially in England, are called limited. The limited stands for limited liability. You cannot be sued for your actions as a corporate executive. See? The company can be sued, but you personally, as an individual, cannot. So, this is all a shell game by the demons. Making organizations and putting people in positions and giving them titles. And then, you know, naive people expect that the titles and the person behind the title are going to match. But in this material world, they usually don't. This in the trade is called a cutout. An identity that's created, a false identity that's created just for the purpose of deceiving others and doing some kind of operations. It's just a name. There's no substance to it. So try to understand, this whole world is like that. This whole world is a world of names. Phony, artificial misleading, deceptive names. And forms also. The forms of this world are also deceptive because they change. When we were young, we had a little baby form. And then we had a young rascal form. And then we had a slightly older rascal form. And then we somehow or other, grew up, actually survived childhood, and then we became a real rascal. So we know these things are going on. But we don't participate. That's the difference between a real sadhu and simply a religious person pretending